National policies adopted integrate diverse measures to counter the phenomenon of foreign fighters and prevent radicalisation. The role of Eurojust is to support cooperation between national prosecuting authorities. Considering the number of victims of the last attacks in Paris and Brussels, what can Eurojust do? We asked Michel Konings, President of Eurojust, and German MEP Monika Hohlmeier.
Well, it's indeed because of the victims that we're working so hard and that we are focusing on the judicial dimension of the fight against terrorism. The rule of law context and the constitutional state context is obliging us to fight terrorists based on the criminal justice approach.
100% guarantee nobody can give. But there are certain lacks in our data exchange systems. There are a kind of unwillingness, or there is a kind of unwillingness over years from the member states to really exchange the data. But on the other side, there are legislation is existing that prohibits data exchange.
What should be improved? What is the added value of Eurojust?
To make use of Eurojust in the earliest stage possible, to even make more use of the facilities offered by Eurojust, its cooperation facilities, accelerated judicial cooperation, but also offering them a forum where they can operationally exchange information in real time, use the coordination centers of Eurojust, the joint investigation teams, which I call the Rolls-Royce of mutual legal assistance.
I think the member states learn now in a very, they are under pressure, that they have to learn very quickly that cooperation must be improved. And the exchange and the justice help in between, or justice support in between member states, sometimes is very slow. So Eurojust is really very important for coordinating just-in-time cooperation.
Did the Paris and Brussels attacks change your approach to the problem?
Well, we have been working on terrorism since many years, since the 11th of March 2004, and we built up a network of devoted, operational, highly specialized anti-terrorism prosecutors. And since 2013, we focused on foreign terrorist fighters. So we were already on top of the identification of the problem.
It didn't change my view. It shocked me that this is possible, but it didn't change my view because I trust security institutions. But in my point of view, data protection is given a very high value in our society, and the security issue is very often dealt as if this would be a breach against data protection. No, I think security institutions have to save our lives.
The EU doesn't have a common definition for terrorism or criminalisation. Is there a need for a common legal framework?
Seen from a criminal point of view, is certainly part of the reality. So what we have to take care of is, for a common problem, again, a common approach. We see that there are prosecution gaps if you do not have the same common legal framework.
This is one goal of the terrorism directive, to have a common basis of a common legal frame. It's clear that the criminal law is in the responsibility of the member states, but perhaps Eurojust can fulfill one very important work. This is the work to have an exchange. What kind of measures are the most successful? Is it more successful to do it in the way that how one member state is doing it, or is it more successful in the other way?
But which prosecution gaps are we talking about?
Solo recruitment was not being tackled by some of the member states. We saw that training was mainly referring to active training, not to passive training, on-the-going training. We also saw that the membership in a terrorist organization was translated differently in different member states. What is a person traveling with terrorist intentions? What is a person getting organized and financing travel for terrorist intention? And what is a person returning back with terrorist intention?
The first gap that we need to close is data exchange. There is a huge gap. Member states still are not as quick as they should be. We need a little bit more confidence in our security institutions. They need a backing.